So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Dr. Louisa. It is a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here, ma'am.
You're
Thank you for
very,
inviting me.
you're very welcome. So, tell us a little bit about you and what inspired you to become a physician.
Well, first, I was born and I spent the first almost 19 years of my life in Romania, in communist Romania. Then at the age of 18 and 11 months to the day, really, 11, April 18, 1987, I came to the United States and a 2 months visit. What uh, what made me want to become a doctor? I was a very sickly child in my younger years. I had chronic tonsils infection, and that made me go, in the doctor's office almost constantly with my mom. Um, and that was really getting, a lot of that infection was just coming on every couple of weeks, and then. Um, at one point it was starting to affect my heart. So finally the doctor gave in after multiple, asks from my mother to take my tonsils out. That surgery was when I was a second grader. And believe it or not, it was practically with no anesthesia.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
Yes, so it was very, very traumatic. But nevertheless, it was life-changing. And it just changed my life. So when I got better after I recovered from the surgery, I was like, my God, this is how healthy people feel. I mean, it's just amazing, right? So I truly believe that even though I cannot pinpoint, some people can pinpoint, oh, this is when I wanted, I decided that I have to be this or that. I really believe that that really what's fueled my desire to become a doctor. I mean, seeing how, a human can have such a beneficial impact on another human, change their life for the better. That to me was just very, very, very amazing. So since that time, I said, I want to be one of those. I want to become a doctor. Now, in Romania, at that time, there were in my class, for instance, there were another 10 people that we all said, yeah, we're going to become doctors and so forth. And believe it or not, I am the only one that became a physician.
Okay. So, you're the only one that kept your goal.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Nice.
All these years, through all my trials and tribulations.
That is good. So you said that we're all born with limitless potential. What do you mean by that?
So I am going to take you and the audience back. Just
Mhm.
think how our children are, right? Put yourself in the mind of a child, right? And when we are small children, we are limitless. We feel that nothing can stop us. I mean, look at the children, right? They're courageous, they're fearless, they are, so true to themselves and
Mhm.
to others. And then something happens along the line. Something changes us, right? So what is it? So what I started looking into it, it really is our self-inflicted limitations that in the beginning it's imposed by the family, close relatives,
Mhm.
societal norms. And then if you keep repeating that, right, those ideas, those limitations become our way of believing in ourselves or lack thereof, and
Mhm.
become our character, become our way of life. So we, especially we women,
Mhm.
are extremely good at self-blaming, self-ostracizing.
Mhm.
We always be like, okay, I must have done something wrong, that this is all happening because of me, because I acted this way, I spoke this way, I dressed up a certain way. And you hear how it is I, right?
Mhm.
So that is something that we in ourselves need to realize that no, it's not us. We are not, the cause, all the almond that's happening to us. We have to start opening our minds and be like, I am not that bad. And I am just a human that's trying hard, and it's enough. So at that point, when you start taking ownership of the fact that you, each one of us, I too, we have our potential. Inside of us, we all have a potential to achieve anything we want to achieve. And
Mhm.
that is, once we find it, we need to grab it and
Mhm.
we need to go for it.
Wow, well said. Wow, that is excellent. So you wrote this nonfiction book. It's called Push, Then Breathe. And who is this book for? And tell us a little bit more about the book.
So I have it here
Okay.
in all its true color and
Okay.
glory, right?
Mhm.
Um, Push and Breathe. Push and Breathe is a story, my own story of the first 15 years in the United States. But it also has a message. So it's a story, a memoir of my life, and the message that it carries to all the humans out there, to remind them that no matter what, they should continue to have their dream, they grab onto it and really take ownership.
Mhm.
And the sky's the limit. Their potential is tremendous. Our potential is tremendous because really we are not meant to just survive. We want to thrive. And that is because life is too short to just surviving and feeling sorry and be like, God, could have, should have, didn't. So my book, um, my book started, started writing this book, believe it or not, 36 years ago. A few months after I came to the United States, I started, jotting it down, handwriting it in Romanian. Didn't get very far, a few pages, and then I tucked it aside. And then life hit, and from every which directions. And in 2018, it started kind of circling again. The idea that, hey, what about that book, right? So I started looking into it. I started thinking maybe I can start writing it on my own. But you see, I was running a practice at the time, a very large practice. I was a single mom with um, two boys growing up, and just life happens, right? So I started, I say that the road to failure starts with good intentions, right? So I started this time around. I'm like, oh, I am going to record myself. It's faster. So that lasted about a week.
Mhm.
Um, because there was no time. So then I said, well, I really became, down on myself. I'm like, oh no, I can't do it. I cannot do it until I retire. So then I said, what about looking to have the help of a book coach? So long story short, I found a book coach online after I did a lot of research, and she and I sat down and we made a plan. We started going through that memory lane, and that's how the book was born.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
took about 3 years to finish, and last March
Mhm.
it was done. It was accepted for publication by a hybrid publisher, Greenleaf Publishing Group. And
Mhm.
then the rest is history.
Okay.
So that is how Push and Breathe was born, and how is now out in Amazon and everywhere.
Okay. So who do you have a specific target for the book, or is just for everybody?
So the primary audience is uh, women.
Okay. Okay.
But
Mhm.
the primary audience in that target audience is women between uh, 16 to about 40,
Mhm.
18 to about 40s, who really have a lot on their plate right now. They had gone through trials, tribulations of
Mhm.
life, whether it's personal or familial, and really feel that they are at an impasse, that they cannot go after their dream, that really it's just living from day to day. And I beg to differ. It's
Okay.
not true. We all can pick up. We all can pick up where we left off and just move on and really do what we really always meant to do in life.
Sounds
The
good. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, sounds good. I'm enjoying what you're saying. I'm
Oh,
getting.
the secondary audience is also the younger women, the teenage women, but also all the humans out there. It doesn't have to be a woman. It has to be a human who had at some point, and we all have this, um, a something negative that happened to them, whether it's trauma, abuse, whether it is PTSD, whether it is a death of a close family member, anything that it really impacts us negatively. And if I would say, hey, somebody comes and say, oh, I had it all rosy. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Come
Yeah, it's
on.
true.
We all have our trials and tribulations.
Mhm.
My goal is to tell my audience and all the humans out there that the message of my book hinges in the power that we all hold. I have three tenets and
Mhm.
three.
Mhm.
So my tenets are that first, you have to be kind to yourself.
Oh yeah.
You cannot beat yourself
Mhm.
yet because things that have happened to you, because that will keep you trapped. The past will keep you trapped and won't let you blossom. It's that self-inflicting limitations I was talking about, is
Mhm.
that self-sabotage. The second tenet is find yourself, that one person that you trust the most and cares deeply about you. And I call them the lighthouses. And always, when you feel down and when you need a word of advice or a shoulder to cry on, reach out to them. And that will make a lot of difference, because when you travel this life road alone, it's twice as hard
Yeah.
to get what you want to get. So that's my second tenet. My
Mhm.
third tenet is don't give up. You will fall, you will stumble, you will have days. But remember, if you anchor yourselves into your self-coping, I call it the cup of
Mhm.
self-coping, meaning whatever makes you happy, go back to that river of self-coping, fill up your cup, and make sure it stays filled, because that you will need when you're down. People are like, what is that?
Mhm.
For me, it's running.
Mhm.
Okay. But
Mhm.
for other people, it could be meditation, yoga, gardening,
Mhm.
reading, playing with a pet, looking at a bird, whatever.
Mhm.
That it fills your cup. I mean, we all need that. Humans are very, very, emotional, sentimental
Mhm.
people that need community, but also need that recharging. I mean, anybody needs that emotional recharging.
Wow.
So those are my
Mhm.
tenets.
Wow, I love those tenants. I do. So where can the listeners get a copy of your book and how can they get in touch with you? Do you have speaking engagements? Did you have like a website and stuff like that?
So my website is Dr. Luisa K. So it's DrLuissak.com. That is my author and my platform website. Uh, I also have my maternal medicine medical practice, and that is telemedmfm.com. So it's TELEMED, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, M as in Mary.com.
Okay.
I have had several speaking engagements. There was podcasts, radio casts. Book launch was 2 weeks ago in the Turks and Caicos, Providenciales. I am a social
Oh, nice.
it was amazing.
Nice.
And we had a great turnout.
Mhm.
My book is on Amazon. It's also in Kindle and hard copy, and it's about to come out in audiobook in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. So
Uh,
is it only on Amazon or is it at Barnes and Nobles or the bookstores?
no. Books a Million, Barnes and Nobles,
Okay, good.
Read It. So that is everywhere, the major retailers everywhere. You can find it. And again, I'm on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I am on Facebook.
Okay.
So I am on Instagram. But
Mm-hmm.
so I can be reached pretty much anywhere. Anybody that wants to reach out, ask questions. And really, my goal is that I want to bring this
Mm-hmm.
to uh, schools, colleges,
Mm-hmm.
high schools, colleges that have a major in psychology, social work, because those students would benefit a great deal from the story and
Mm-hmm.
the message and impart it to their patients in the future.
So, do you have any last words for the listeners about never giving up and staying focused on their dreams?
Yes. So I will start by giving you a little story from the book. A year after I escaped my father's cage, it was 1994. It was Thanksgiving Day, and I succeeded to have my mom. I invited my mom for the first time to come in the United States. As now that I was an American citizen, I could do so. We were walking together on Thanksgiving Day after the Mass
Mm-hmm.
in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, she stopped me and she asked, "What about your dream, Luisa?
Mm-hmm.
What about your dream?" That question, when I was working 3 jobs,
Mm-hmm.
was living paycheck to paycheck, barely making it, hit me like a ton of bricks. That question turned around my life and made me realize that I am letting go of my lifelong dream to become a doctor. That day, I realized that I have to do something. I have to take ownership, and I cannot push aside my dream and just find excuses. Okay. So I changed, I moved from feeling helpless
Mm-hmm.
and broken to feeling limitless, from just barely surviving to the desire to thrive. That day, I took ownership of my dream, and 8 years later, I finished medical school. I became a doctor. I achieved my dream.
Mm-hmm.
So I am leaving you and the audience with the same question that my mother asked me many years ago. What about your dream?
Yeah.
Embrace your possibilities and truly go and overcome and conquer the world, because it's your world.
It's amazing how just one sentence can change someone's life. And that is great that your mom reminded you of what you said that you wanted to do. And sometimes we just need that reminder to push us. And I'm so happy that you shared your story with us on the podcast. Louisa, it was great having you on Beauty of Colors podcast.
It's been my pleasure and my honor. And thank you so much, Cleanne. You have a blessed day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Beauty of Colors podcast. We hope you enjoyed the program, and for more information, be sure to visit www.cleannejohnson.com.